In last video, we described a typical high-end audio system and the components included. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I allocated my budget and why I did it as such. So this time we will start with the source, a CD player. Again, it's an ONKYO C7070. Very good CD player, and by the way, this is my second audio system, so you can see it's different from last one. And then here is a integrated stereo amp. So integrated amp normally it's include a volume control and some other functions like a select input and so on. This is a quick audio Destiny integrated amp, or I can also play the system use a Bryston 4BST stereo power amp, which doesn't have a volume control. So what I did is that to save the budget, I make myself a volume control, use a high-end potential port to adjust the volume. So you can do this as well. And then we drive them with Dynaudio three-way speakers. So overall, let me summarize my budget allocation. So it's roughly about 20% on the source, the CD player, and then 40% on the amplifier, and then the last 40% on the speakers. And the reason for this is the speakers are the most critical part for the entire audio system to sound correct with dynamics, sound imaging, flat frequency response, and sweet highs, deep lows, and all those things. So that's why we want to spend a relatively high percentage on our speaker first. So when you build up your system, you want to think about what type of speaker you're going to go with. I selected Dynaudio. I tried different brand, and I do have different brand as well. In overall, Dynaudio is quite balanced, and the most significant part for Dynaudio speakers are they normally has very, very low distortion. So they sound very clean, clear, and it's very musical in overall. Then you need a good amplifier to drive them because Dynaudio speakers are famous for low sensitivity, and they need a good amplifier to drive them to make them sound well. Dynaudio also has a relatively bumpier impedance curve, meaning at different frequency range, it has different impedances. And to drive them well, again, you need a very, very good amp or low output impedance amp to make sure that your output signal doesn't vary with the speaker impedance. And the amplifiers, again, is critical. As we mentioned earlier, we want to have a good one. And in this case, I choose the Quick Audio. It's very, very well reviewed by Stereophile. This is a kind of a 2010 kind of time frame amplifier. I prefer amplifiers about 10 or even longer time ago, because at that time people put much more effort on designs and component picks, and nowadays amplifiers are just looking for higher price, making money and all those things. So I prefer to use a relatively earlier time kind of amplifier. And the Bryston, again, is famous for their capability to drive low impedance speakers, and 4BS SST is very famous amp. So lots of people look after this kind of amp. I compared the two amps. They sound very similar. So I would say the Quick Audio integrated is a very good buy. So if you can find one, don't hesitate to get it. You need to do a few things, modifications to make it correct. I have another video you can look up, and in that video it shows how you recap the amplifier and how you might modify the amplifier to make it work properly. And then the source we mentioned earlier, ONKYO. This is a separate DAC CD player, very nice. And basically that's how I allocated the budget among the audio system setup. You can make your own decision, and of course there are some other things need to be considered. For instance, the power cable, speaker cable, interconnect, and so on and so forth. So in the later sessions, I will show you piece by piece how we should do the best of each of these components and make them most cost effectively work, perform the way you want. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye.